Hi, hello, two things before I get into this video. Firstly, thank you for your lovely response to my last video. I was quite happy with that one and it took quite a bit of effort, so thank you, and if you haven't seen it I will link it at the end. Secondly, thank you so much for 5,000 subscribers. I don't care how many of you there are, but there are quite a few of you and you're all very lovely, so thank you so much for watching. Okay, I wanted to make a book video today, but as I said in my last book video, I don't really have time for leisurely reading with my university readings to do. So I figured I could just tell you about my favourite books, because that's something I get asked about quite a lot in various parts of the internet. And this is my all-time favourite book, I think. I change my mind from time to time. This is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I don't have the nicest cover, it has to be said. This is a long man edition and I have this one because it has study help and a glossary at the back, because I studied Jane Eyre for my A-level English literature. I also studied it at GCSE for a character analysis on Mr. Brocklehurst, I think, so I just read the childhood years for GCSE, and I think before that I read a kind of dumbed down version for children when I was about 10 or 11. So this book's been with me academically for quite a while, and as you can see it is full of underlining and annotations. Also, I hope you can't see, I have about a dozen dog-eared pages towards the end, and the pages that are dog-eared are pages on which Jane and Rochester have nice romantic lovey-dovey conversations. I shouldn't have admitted that to the internet. This is my favourite book for lots of reasons. I love the character of Jane Eyre, I love Charlotte Bronte and her story. I love that this novel is ahead of its time, but also really quite stuck in its time, if that makes any sense. And I think a book that you dissect so thoroughly to study for an A-level exam and still love at the end of it is definitely worthy of being a favourite. So that's Jane Eyre, and I would definitely recommend you read it if you haven't already. My next favourite book is one which I no longer have a copy of, and it is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. I hope I said that right. I picked this book up about 2 years ago in a bookshop. I walked into a bookshop, realised I had some money but I didn't know what I wanted to buy, so I think I tweeted and I asked and someone told me to read The Book Thief. And I just picked it up and I bought it, but it was amazing to me when I started reading it, because at the time I was studying World War II Germany for my history A-level, and also I think I'd probably paid a deposit for my Poland trip. I went to Poland in Halloween time in 2011, and the purpose of that trip was to go to Auschwitz, and it was a history trip essentially, so it was weird. It was like life was sort of steering me towards this book because it knew I would appreciate it at the time. I don't even know what to say about The Book Thief. It's such a special book. I guess the main selling point is it's narrated by death. The tagline of the book is, "When death tells a story, you have to listen." And it's just such a great story. It's about Liesel, who is a little girl that follows her through some of her childhood years, and she lives in war-stricken Germany, and it's so good. I'm going to stop talking about it and recommend that you please go out and get yourself a copy. The reason I don't have a physical copy anymore is because I gave it to my English teacher on the day of my English literature A-level, because I just thought she should read it, and I never got it back. I think she forgot. Moving on, back to the classics, this is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. If you don't love Jane Austen, then shame on you. But I love Jane Austen, and I love the movie version of this with Keira Knightley. I love BBC versions that come on TV on lazy Sunday afternoons, and this is just such a great story. And this is a very battered copy of Pride and Prejudice. This was given to me by my better half, who is not here because he wandered off on tour and left me, but he gave this to me before we kind of really knew each other, so that's nice, isn't it? Nice story for you. I definitely need to read more Jane Austen. I've read this and I've read Sense and Sensibility, maybe another one. So let me know what your favourite Jane Austen novel is, because I'd love to read a few more before the year's out. Next one is a little more recent, but when I look at it, when I pick it up, it feels like the first time I read it was an absolute eternity ago. This is Looking for Alaska by John Green. I'm sure you've heard of this book. I'm sure if not, you've heard of The Fault in Our Stars. This book, as well as being a wonderful young adult book, it sort of sums up a point in my life where I was starting YouTube, and when I went to London to see John Green, I met Christina and Amanda, who are two of my best friends now, and the nerd fighter community, and just I sort of re-realised my love for books and my love for all things nerdy, and I just sort of embraced this internet world which I now live in. And so this book sort of always brings back a lot of the newness of those feelings. My copy is indeed signed. You can see my name there and a John Green squiggle, and there are a few dog-eared pages. I'm a big fan of dog-earing pages in which really great quotes or really meaningful things are said. And some people hate dog-earing books, but I'm a big fan of that. Also, I adore this cover, but I think it can be quite off-putting maybe for male readers because it has a little heart and it's girly handwriting, but I would definitely recommend this book to absolutely everyone, especially if you like The Fault in Our Stars and you haven't read any other John Green. I would recommend that. The last one in my little pile is The Great Gatsby. I've talked about my love for this book too many times. I'm not going to ramble about it once more. But I would recommend that you watch the Crash Course Literature videos that John Green did about The Great Gatsby quite recently. There were 2 of those, I think, and they were just really, really great, especially if you have to study this book this year or any time. Those are my favourite books. I have the most horrible feeling that I've forgotten something really, really obvious. Obviously, all the Harry Potter books, but especially Prisoner of Azkaban, have a very special place in my heart, as well as some childhood books like Matilda by Roald Dahl, but I didn't want to ramble forever, and I'm quite interested to know your favourite books. Also, if you feel like humouring me by answering a question, I would ask you, do you think favourite books say anything about a person? Do you feel like you know me better, or you know what type of person I am, judging by those 5 books? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay, I'm gonna go and get back to my university readings, but thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day. I will see you next time. Goodbye.